The opening scene unfolds on a freezing January night, where the softest of Eli's old Honda Civic heater is the only warmth he knows. Inside that worn-down car, Eli Turner grips a crinkled lottery ticket, a ticket worth $22.4 million. But unlike how anyone else would react, he doesn't scream, smile, or cry with joy. Instead, he sits frozen, his breath shaky, his hands trembling. This isn't disbelief, it's fear mixed with exhaustion. Because for Eli, good news has never been real, and hope has always been something other people get to have. His life has been one long inventory of emotional bruises delivered by the people who were supposed to love him. So when he wins a life-changing jackpot, his mind doesn't jump to excitement. It goes straight to one haunting question. What will happen when his family finds out? When Eli finally steps inside the house, instead of warmth, he's met with the coldest reality he's known his whole life. His mother doesn't look at him with concern or affection, just irritation. His father greets him with disappointment, as usual. Dylan, the shining star of the Turner family, laughs at him like he's nothing more than a family joke. Each insult hits harder than the winter air outside, but Eli remains quiet, almost ghost-like in his own home. What makes this moment powerful is the emotional contrast. The audience knows the truth about what's in his pocket, a fortune capable of changing all their lives. Yet his family treats him the same as always. Their cruel words echo through the kitchen, pushing Eli deeper into a silence that isn't weakness, but the beginning of something calculated, something transformative. Later that night, alone in the darkness of his small room, Eli whispers a decision that becomes the story's electrifying hook. I won't tell them, not yet. This is the moment the test begins. Instead of celebrating, Eli chooses to study the people who have underestimated him for years. He will ask for help, little favors, emotional support, the same things they've always denied him. But this time, every response they give has consequences they can't even imagine. The audience becomes emotionally hooked because we now hold a secret his family doesn't. Eli is no longer powerless. We want to see who fails him, who betrays him, and whether anyone shows genuine love. And beneath that curiosity lies a darker craving, the desire for his quiet revenge, for his rise, for justice. Eli's transformation starts here in silence, and the suspense becomes irresistible. Before the lottery changed everything, Eli Turner's life was a quiet battlefield no one noticed. He worked 2 exhausting jobs, mornings at a hardware store, nights at a small diner where the neon sign flickered like it pitted him. He earned just enough to survive, never enough to escape. Every day was a loop of fatigue, grease stains, and customers who never remembered his name. But what hurt more than poverty was the emotional poverty at home. His family saw his long hours not as hard work, but as proof of failure. They worshipped Dylan, the golden child, while Eli became the household shadow. The final blow came when his girlfriend walked out, claiming his life had no future. With no support, no encouragement, and no voice, Eli learned to believe he was worthless. That belief, planted in childhood, had grown into chains. Chains he was finally ready to break. The Turner family was a study in anime-style emotional tension. Everything exaggerated in feeling, yet painfully real. Linda Turner, the mother, treated life like a performance. Perfection mattered more than people, and she paraded Dylan as her masterpiece while using guilt like a weapon against Eli. George Turner, the father, hid his disappointment behind gruff silence, but his resentment leaked through every glare. Dylan, the polished star, wore charm like armor, masking the selfishness underneath. He had borrowed thousands from Eli, laughed about it, and never repaid $1. Then there was Haley, kind-hearted but trapped, tiptoeing around the family's toxicity, offering Eli tiny lifelines that never lasted long. Growing up among them felt like living in a house where everyone spoke loudly, but no one ever heard him. These dynamics didn't just shape Eli. They carved scars into him that the audience instantly feels. Now, standing on the edge of a secret fortune, Eli begins a silent transformation. He calls his bosses and takes a leave from work, citing stress, knowing it will make him look weak in his family's eyes. The perfect setup for his test. He pretends his bank balance is zero, lets bills pile up, and even stops paying rent. With every calculated move, he paints himself as a man collapsing under pressure. He wants to see, for the first time in his life, whether anyone in the Turner family will reach out without expecting something in return. The emotional weight builds because we understand the depth of his suffering and the roots of his revenge. We watch him step into a role he's played unwillingly for years. The struggling disappointment. But now he controls the narrative. This is where the audience starts rooting for him, long before the payback begins. The first test begins quietly, almost gently, but the emotional impact is brutal. Eli approaches his mother in the kitchen, voice low, asking for $200 for groceries. It's a small amount, the kind of favor any parent would grant without hesitation. But Linda doesn't even turn fully toward him. Her eyes narrow with disgust, as if his request is an inconvenience to her perfect life. "I'm not funding your laziness," she snaps, dismissing him like something she stepped over on the floor. Eli doesn't argue. He simply nods and walks away, his chest tightening. Next, he tries his father, hoping maybe, just once, George will surprise him. But George's answer cuts deeper. Walk to work. Might build some character. These aren't just refusals. They're confirmations of everything Eli feared. His family doesn't see him struggling. They see him as a struggle. And that realization begins to crack something inside him. Then comes a moment that seals the truth, the confrontation with Dylan. Eli gathers the courage to ask for something he is genuinely owed, the $900 Dylan borrowed a month ago and refused to acknowledge. Instead of remorse, Dylan bursts into laughter. "Bro, I'm not paying you back. That was a gift." His tone drips with superiority. The kind of mockery that isn't just cruel, it's dismissive, like Eli is beneath the effort of kindness. But the real emotional fracture happens later, when the entire family gathers with relatives for dinner. In front of everyone, they tear him down piece by piece, calling him dead weight, a disgrace, always begging, like his struggles are entertainment, a relative jokes. Good thing Eli never wins anything in life, unaware of the winning ticket hidden upstairs. The humiliation burns through Eli's veins, something between heartbreak and awakening. That night, alone in the dim light of his small bedroom, Eli pulls open his drawer and reveals the secret that could rewrite every insult. The $22.4 million lottery ticket, taped beneath the wood panel. He stares at it, not with joy, but with a hollow ache. Every cruel word from earlier replays in his mind, like a montage designed to break him. But instead of shattering, something inside him hardens. His whisper is quiet, but it's the most powerful line of his life. "Okay, test failed. Message received." In that moment, the audience shifts emotionally. We aren't just watching Eli anymore. We're feeling everything with him. The betrayal, the injustice, the rising storm of revenge. The humiliation becomes fuel. The silence becomes strategy. And the viewers cannot help but burn with anticipation, knowing that the Turner family has no idea what's coming for them next. Eli begins the second phase of his test. Not with money, but with vulnerability. He approaches his family hesitantly, telling them he might lose his job, hoping that maybe, just maybe, they'll show concern. Instead, the reaction is ice cold. George doesn't blink before saying, "Then maybe you should." No sympathy. No advice. Not even a pause. Linda dismisses him entirely. And when Eli asks if he can stay in the spare room, a room that's been empty for years, she recoils as if he asked for a kidney. "Absolutely not. We're not running a shelter," she declares, her voice sharp enough to cut. Dylan, meanwhile, escalates the cruelty, whispering rumors around town that Eli is a leech, claiming he's draining the family dry. And the worst part? Linda believes it instantly, and George nods along. It becomes painfully clear. They don't just reject him, they resent his existence. Haley is the only one who hesitates, the only one whose eyes soften when she looks at Eli. She sneaks into his room with trembling hands and gives him $40, whispering, "I'm sorry. I wish I could do more." Her voice cracks, she cares, but she's terrified of her own family. Even her kindness feels like a tragic apology carved out of fear. Eli realizes then that he is truly alone. The pain becomes unbearable, but it also becomes clarifying. He begins emotionally distancing himself, stops talking to them, stops eating dinner with them, stops waiting for approval that will never come. In secret, He signs a lease for a small apartment of his own, the first independent decision he's made in years. As he packs his few belongings, something inside him shifts. Not revenge yet, but a quiet resignation. The Turner family has failed every test. Spectacularly, the twist hits when Eli overhears neighbors talking. His family has begun telling the world that he is the one taking advantage of them, twisting the narrative into a lie so dramatic they seem almost proud of it. They claim he's freeloading, begging, draining their energy, when in reality they've slammed every door in his face. This hypocrisy doesn't make Eli angry. It makes him silent, dangerous, because now he knows they won't just refuse him. They'll destroy his reputation to protect their own image. So he watches, waits, plans. In his new apartment, the lottery ticket sits locked in a small metal box, glowing like a secret destiny waiting to be unleashed. He no longer expects love from them. He no longer seeks validation. What he seeks now is clarity, and he has it. The storm is building, and Eli is the only one who knows it's coming. The climax ignites the moment Eli disappears without a trace. One morning, his room sits eerily empty, drawers cleared, closet bare, not a note left behind. His family doesn't worry. Instead, they mock him, assuming he finally ran away from life because he was too weak to handle responsibility. What they don't know is that while they gossip, Eli is stepping barefoot across the polished marble floors of a luxury penthouse he purchased in full cash. For the first time, he breathes freely. But the real explosion begins when a lawyer contacts the Turner family, informing them that Eli left something for them. Suddenly, the same people who shamed him drown in fake tears and Oscar-worthy performances. Linda clutches her chest dramatically. George pretends to be devastated in front of neighbors, and Dylan, shameless as ever, mutters, "I bet he left money." Their greed becomes a perfect setup for their downfall. The tension erupts at the confrontation dinner. The family arrives at the private luxury dining hall in clothes they obviously can't afford, whispering excitedly about their assumed inheritance. Then the doors open, and Eli walks in alive, elegant, composed. Their faces drain of color. Linda stumbles to her feet, gasping, "Eli, you're alive?" His reply, cold and steady, "Sorry to disappoint," freezes the room. What follows is a devastating dismantling. Eli reveals that he won $22.4 million and had been testing them for weeks. He shows screenshots, recordings, and detailed notes of every time they rejected him. The groceries, the car repairs, the rumors, the insults. Each memory hits them like a punch straight to the soul. Panic erupts. Crying, begging, denials. But Eli doesn't waver. Then comes a legal blow. The lawyer reveals documents cutting him off completely. Financially, legally, emotionally. Dylan's past fraud is exposed. Lawsuits wait on the table. The emotional collapse that follows is catastrophic. Linda blames George for being too harsh. George blames Dylan for corrupting the family. And Dylan breaks down, trying to hug Eli. But Eli steps back, refusing the last shred of false affection. Haley stands to the side, tears streaming, the only person who understands why this had to happen. The Turner family implodes in front of him, their fake unity crumbling like dust. Then Eli delivers a line that becomes the most replayed moment on the internet. "When I had nothing, you gave me nothing. Now that I have everything, I give you the same." His voice doesn't shake. He turns and walks away as his family collapses and screams, sobs, and blame. It is an emotional peak. Justice served not with anger, but with truth. Eli leaves him behind, and the audience feels every second of that unforgettable walk. After breaking free from the Turner household and its years of emotional suffocation, Eli steps fully into the life he deserves. Not a life defined by revenge, but by rebirth. In his modern penthouse overlooking the city lights, he wakes up to silence that finally feels peaceful, not lonely. The air is different here, softer. Kinda. He fills his days not with fear of judgment, but with purpose. With his newfound wealth, he builds something meaningful. A foundation dedicated to helping those who grew up like he did, unsupported, unloved, and trapped in toxic households. He funds emergency housing, therapy programs, and mentorship paths for kids who have nowhere else to turn. Each wall he paints, each room he furnishes, feels like healing. For the first time in his life, Eli isn't surviving. He's building, growing, becoming the person he always needed, and now could be for others. The world begins to hear Eli's name, not as the Turner family's failure, but as a symbol of resilience and transformation. Schools invite him to speak. Counselors partner with his foundation. People write letters saying he saved them. And with every story, Eli's own wounds close a little more. He realizes that revenge wasn't the ending. It was a release. His real ending is empowerment. But amid his new life, there is one familiar face who quietly seeks him out: Haley. She arrives at his doorstep trembling, holding no excuses, no defenses, only a sincere apology. She admits she was scared, trapped under their parents' control, but she saw everything and never stopped caring. Her voice cracks as she tells him she misses her brother. Eli listens, not as a wounded son, but as someone who finally understands forgiveness doesn't mean forgetting. It means choosing peace over pain. Eli doesn't offer Haley money, fame, or access to his new world. Instead, he offers something far more valuable: emotional safety, the kind he never received growing up. He invites her in, makes her tea, and tells her softly, "You don't owe me anything." Their relationship rebuilds slowly, quietly, beautifully. She becomes the only member of the Turner family he allows near his heart, not because of blood, but because she chose honesty when it mattered. Together, they work on programs for teens escaping abusive homes. And as the foundation expands, Eli stands at its entrance one evening, watching the sunset wash his penthouse in gold. He breathes deeply, knowing he has rewritten his story completely, not as a Turner family's burden, but as a man who turned pain into purpose. A man who finally loves himself enough to never return to who he wants. The world is quiet when the sun rises over the city, painting Eli's penthouse balcony in soft shades of gold and lavender. He sits alone, wrapped in the kind of silence he used to fear, but now it feels like peace. In his hand, he holds the same crinkled lottery ticket he once clutched in his beat-up Honda Civic. It's faded now, edges worn, but it carries the weight of every moment that reshaped him. He turns it over gently, almost reverently, realizing it wasn't luck that saved him. It was the moment he chose to walk away. The morning air is cool against his skin, but it's comforting. For the first time, he isn't waiting for insults, judgment, or disappointment. He is simply existing, breathing, healing. The world below moves on, unaware of the quiet revolution taking place inside him. Eli lifts the ticket closer to the rising sun, watching light filter through it like a stained glass reminder of the past. His voice is barely more than a breath when he finally speaks. "Money didn't change me, it just showed me who was never with me." The words drift into morning air, soft but unbreakable. This isn't bitterness, it's clarity. Every trial, every test, every rejection now feels like stepping stones that push him toward this moment. He isn't celebrating wealth. He's acknowledging truth. Wealth didn't make him stronger, realizing his worth did. In this quiet space above the noise of the world, Eli feels a shift, a closing of an old chapter, not with dramatic fireworks, but with a gentle understanding that he has outgrown the pain that once defined him. And with that, the last pieces of the Turner family's shadow fall away. As the sun fully breaks over the skyline, Eli sets the ticket on the balcony table beside him. He doesn't need to frame it, worship it, or hide it. It is no longer a secret weapon. It is a symbol of survival, a reminder of the moment he realized his life mattered beyond what anyone else believed. He leans back in his chair, letting warmth touch his face. There is no dramatic music, no cheering crowd, no final confrontation. Just stillness, just truth. Eli's story doesn't end with revenge or victory. It ends with peace, the rarest, most expensive thing he never knew he could afford. And that quiet stillness becomes its own kind of power, the kind that stays with the audience long after the story fades to black, the kind that goes viral not for shock, but for the ache of its honesty. Was